Hi everyone and welcome back to First the Coffee Crochet. In this tutorial we're going to go over how to make the Sierra market bag pattern. This is a pretty easy pattern to do. You just need to know how to do the double crochet and half double crochet and single crochet stitches. The finished size is 16 inches wide by 19 inches tall, and that's when it's laid out flat and it doesn't include the handles. This pattern is in US terms, and the initial chains at the start of the row do not count as a stitch unless otherwise noted. You can change the height of the market bag, and all you'll need to do that is to do more repeats of the round 16 through 21. And each repeat of that will give you about 3¼ inches. You'll need about 85 extra yards of yarn each time. Now, as this pattern is written, you'll need 515 yards of the medium weight yarn. For this particular bag, I did use the Lion Brand ReUp bonus bundle yarn. It is my first time using the yarn, and I do have to say, for a quick review on it, I absolutely love it. You'll also need a 5.5mm crochet hook and a yarn needle to weave in your ends, stitch markers if you'd like to use them to help keep track of the beginnings and ends of your rows, and a pair of scissors. And the color that we are using today is Rosewater. The original bag I used the color Mineral Springs. So let's go ahead and get started on this bag. And as always, there is a written pattern available for this on my website, and I'll leave a link for that down in the description below. Right, to start out, you'll want to make a slip knot. And then we're going to make a chain of 4. And we're going to be making a ring out of this chain, so if you'd prefer to use a magic ring, you can do that too. Once you have a chain of 4, we're going to join the first and last stitch using the slip stitch. Now we have a little ring. So for round 1, we're going to be going into this ring. To start out, you'll chain 2. Now this does not count as a stitch. And what we're going to do is do 12 double crochets into this circle. So you'll just yarn over, insert your hook into the circle, yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2, and then yarn over and pull through the remaining 2. Okay, and just do that 11 more times. It's usually a good idea to just kind of pull these back so that way you have enough room to do these into the little circle. All right, once you have 12 double crochets into that circle, we're going to join this last and first stitch using a slip stitch. It can be a good idea here, just mark your last stitch so that way you know where it is in the round as you're going around. And we'll also mark the first one so that way we can keep track of everything. Okay, for round 2, we're going to chain 2, and again this doesn't count as a stitch. And for round 2, all we're going to be doing is 2 double crochets in each stitch all the way around, and we'll be starting in that first stitch there. There's 1. And there's 2. So we'll just do that same in each stitch all the way around. 2 double crochets in each stitch. And that'll bring it up to a total of 24 stitches for your round. and you can go ahead and pause the video, and I'll meet you back here at the end of this round. Okay, and at the end of this round you should have 24 double crochets all the way around. We'll go ahead and mark our last one. And then all we're going to do here, remember that this is your slip stitch where you join the last round. We're just going to use another slip stitch to join the first and last stitch of this round. For round 3, we're going to start off with a chain of 2. And starting in this first stitch, we're going to do 1 double crochet. And then in the next stitch, we're going to do 2 double crochets. Right, then we'll do 1 double crochet in the next stitch. And 2 double crochets in the following. And that's all this is for round 3, is just 1 double crochet, 2 double crochet, 1 double crochet, 2 double crochet. You're just alternating that, and your last stitch should be 2 double crochets into 1. And that will bring you up to 36 stitches for this round. So you can go ahead and pause the video, and I'll meet you back here at the end of this round. The end of round 3, just like before, we're going to use a slip stitch to join the last and first stitches together. So for round 4, we're going to chain 2. And now in this round, starting in this first stitch, we're going to start out with 2 double crochets in that first stitch. Now I do my rounds a little differently. I stagger my increases so they're in different positions. That way you end up with a more rounded shape instead of having just like this kind of pointed edge going up because all the increases are in the same exact stitch. Then in the next 2 stitches, we're just going to do 1 double crochet in each of those. Right, then in the next stitch, we're going to do 2 double crochets. And then 1 double crochet in each of the next 2. So for this round, all you do is 2 double crochets in one stitch, and then 1 double crochet in the next 2 stitches. And that'll take you up to 48 stitches for this round. Go ahead and pause the video, and I'll meet you back here at the end of this round. At the end of round 4, you should now have 48 double crochets all the way around. We're just going to join the last and first stitch again using a slip stitch. So for round 5, we're going to start out with chaining 2. Now starting in that first stitch, we're going to do 1 double crochet, and then 1 double crochet in each of the next 2 stitches. And then in that following stitch, we're going to do 2 double crochets. Right, so then over the next 3 stitches, 1 double crochet in each of those. And then in that 4th stitch, 2 double crochets. So for this round, you just do 3 stitches of 1 double crochet in each, and then in the 4th stitch 2 double crochets to increase. And that'll increase you up to 60 stitches for this round. You can go ahead and pause the video and I'll meet you back here at the end of this round. For the end of this round, your last stitch should have 2 double crochets in it. So that should give you 60 stitches all the way around. And we'll just go ahead and use a slip stitch to join the round. For round 6, we're going to start out by chaining 2, and then starting in this first stitch, we're going to do 2 double crochet stitches. Right, and then for the next 4 stitches, we're going to do 1 double crochet in each of those 4 stitches. And then in the next stitch, we're going to do 2 double crochets. And now in the next 4 stitches, we'll just do 1 double crochet each. So that's all this round is. It's just 2 double crochets in 1 stitch, and then followed by 4 stitches of 1 double crochet in each stitch. It'll bring you up to 72 stitches for this round. So you can go ahead and pause the video and I'll meet you back here at the end of round 6. Okay, at the end of round 6, you should have 72 double crochets going all the way around. And at the end of the round, we'll use a slip stitch to join the first and last stitch together. For round 7, we're going to chain 2. Now for this round, starting in the first stitch, we're going to do 2 double crochets, and then over the next 5 stitches, we'll be doing 1 double crochet in each of those. So we'll do 2 double crochets in this first stitch. And then we'll do 1 double crochet in each of the next 5. And that's going to be our repeat for this round. So 2 double crochets in 1 stitch, and then for 5 stitches, 1 double crochet in each of those. This will bring your stitch count up to 84 stitches for this round. You can go ahead and pause the video and I'll meet you back here at the end of round 7. Okay, at the end of round 7, you should have 84 double crochets going all the way around. We'll go ahead and join the last and first stitch using a slip stitch. For round 8, we're going to chain 2. Now starting in the first stitch for round 8, we're going to do 1 double crochet, and we're going to do 1 double crochet in each of the next 5 stitches after that. So that's 6 individual double crochets over the next 6 stitches starting in that first stitch. There's 1. There's 2. There's 3. 4. 5, and 6. So in that next stitch, the 7th stitch, we're going to do 2 double crochet stitches in that. So that's all round 8 is. It's going to be 6 stitches of 1 double crochet in each of those 6, and then in the 7th stitch you'll be doing 2 double crochets. And that'll bring your count up to 96 stitches for this round. You can go ahead and pause the video, and I'll meet you back here at the end of this round. At the end of round 8, your last stitch should have 2 double crochets in it. And you should have 96 stitches going all the way around. And we'll go ahead and use a slip stitch like before to join the first and last stitch. And for row 9, we're going to start off with a chain of 2. Now for this round, we're going to start with 2 double crochets in that first stitch. And then over the next 7 stitches, we're going to be doing 1 double crochet in each of those. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So now we'll start that repeat again. In the next stitch, we're going to do 2 double crochets. And then we'll do 1 double crochet in each of the next 7 stitches, and we'll just keep repeating that all the way around, and that'll bring your stitch count up to 108 stitches for this round. You can go ahead and pause the video, and I'll meet you back here at the end of this round. At the end of round 9, your last stitch should be the 7th double crochet where you're doing the single double crochets in a row. That should bring you up to 108 stitches all the way around. Okay, just as before, we'll go ahead and use a slip stitch to join the first and last stitch of the round. Now round 10 is going to be our last increase. And one trick I do like to use, especially getting up to this many stitches, because we're going to be going up to 120, is to use a marker every 20 stitches, so that way it's just easier to count all the way around. So for round 10, we're going to start off by chaining 2. Now starting in this first stitch, we're going to do a double crochet over each of the first 8 stitches here. So starting in that first one, we'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Right, so after we've done 8, in that next stitch we're going to do 2 double crochets. And that's all this round is it's going to be 8 stitches of 1 double crochet followed by 1 stitch of 2 double crochets. And that's going to bring you up to 120 stitches all the way around. So you can go ahead and pause the video and finish off this round, and I'll meet you back here at the end of it. At the end of round 10, your last stitch is going to be 2 double crochets into that last one, and that'll bring it up to a total of 120 stitches for this round. And we'll continue with 120 stitches in each round until we get to the handles of this bag. So we'll just go ahead and join the last and first stitch using the slip stitch, And now going into the body of the bag here, where you're done with the base, for rounds 11 through 15, we're just going to be doing half double crochets in each stitch all the way around. So for these rounds, to start out, you'll just chain 1, and starting in the first stitch, we're going to do a half double crochet. So you'll just yarn over, insert your hook into the stitch, yarn over and pull up a loop, then yarn over and pull through all 3 loops on your hook. And we're just going to do that in each stitch all the way around. You can go ahead and pause the video, and I'll meet you back here at the end of this round. And once we're at the end of this round, just use a slip stitch to join the first and last stitch, just like we have in previous rounds. And you'll just repeat the same thing for 4 more rounds up through round 15, just doing half double crochets in each stitch, starting off with a chain 1 at the beginning. And I'll meet you back here at the end of round 15. At the end of round 15, we're just going to join like we've done with the previous rounds, using a slip stitch. And starting in round 16, that's where we're going to start doing the main repeat for this bag. So for round 16, we're going to start out with a chain of 3. Now this is going to count as 1 double crochet and a chain 1. So one thing that would be good to do is just use a marker on the second chain here. That way you have that marked when you come back around. Okay, so since this counts as a double crochet and a chain 1, that'll count as a stitch in this first stitch. We're going to skip the next stitch, and then we're going to do a double crochet in the following stitch. Okay, and then we're going to chain 1, skip a stitch, and do a double crochet in the following. And that's all this round is a chain 1, skip a stitch, and do a double crochet in the following stitch. So you can go ahead and pause the video, and I'll meet you back here at the end of this round. At the end of round 16, after you've done your last double crochet, you'll have 1 stitch left. Remember, this is our slip stitch where we joined the previous round. So we're going to chain 1, we're going to skip that last stitch, and then we're going to use a slip stitch to join this chain to the chain 2 that we marked at the beginning of the round, to the second chain that we marked at the beginning of the round. Now for round 17, we're going to slip stitch into this first chain space. And now we're going to chain 3 again. And once again, this will count as a double crochet and a chain 1. So go ahead and mark that second chain in that so we have that marked when we come back around. And we're going to skip this stitch, and then we're going to do a double crochet into the chain space. Then chain 1, skip the stitch, and do a double crochet into the chain space. And that's all this round is, and you'll do the same exact thing for round 18. Just chain 1, double crochet into the chain space below. So you can go ahead and pause the video, and I'll meet you back here at the end of this round. Okay, at the end of row 17, we're going to put in our last double crochet in the last chain space here. We're going to chain 1, and we're skipping over this stitch, and this is our initial chain 3. So we'll be using a slip stitch to join this chain and the second chain in that chain 3 together. And now for round 18, we're going to do the same exact thing we did for round 17. So we're going to slip stitch into this next chain space, and then we're going to chain 3. Go ahead and mark that second chain. And then we're going to do a double crochet in the next chain space, and chain 1, and then just a double crochet in the next chain space. Just do that all the way around, just like you did in round 17. You can go ahead and pause the video, and I'll meet you back here at the end of round 18. Okay, for the end of round 18, just like before, we're going to do our last chain 1, and then we're going to join that in that second chain of our initial chain 3 using a slip stitch. Now for round 19, we're going to be doing half double crochets all the way around. We'll be doing them starting in this first stitch, which is that chain 2 that we just joined. We'll be doing a half double crochet into that, then into the chain space, into the next stitch, chain space, next stitch, and that's just what we're going to do all the way around. So we'll start out by chaining 1, and then back into that first stitch we're going to do a half double crochet. So it can be a little tight doing that. Working in chains is not always fun. Right, and then we're going to do a half double crochet into that chain space. Right, and then we'll be doing a half double crochet into that next stitch. And then into the next chain space. And then into that stitch. So you'll just repeat this all the way around for this round. 1 half double crochet in the chain space, 1 half double crochet in the next stitch. And you should have 120 half double crochets at the end of this round. You can go ahead and pause the video, and I'll meet you back here at the end of round 19. Okay, at the end of round 19, we're just going to do our last half double crochet in that chain space. And then as we've done all along, we'll just join our last and first stitch using a slip stitch. Now for the next 3 rounds, rounds 20, 21, and 22, we're just going to be doing half double crochet in each stitch all the way around. In each of these rounds, we'll start off with a chain of 1, and then in that first stitch, you're going to do a half double crochet. And then you're going to do a half double crochet in each stitch. And at the end of these rounds, you'll just join as we've done before using a slip stitch. And your stitch count should be 120 stitches for each of these rounds. So you can go ahead and pause the video, and I'll meet you back here at the end of round 22. Because at the end of round 22, we're just going to go ahead and use a slip stitch like before. So after this, rounds 23 through 36, we'll be repeating rounds 16 through 22 2 times. So you'll just go through and repeat those, and I'll meet you back here once you're done with round 36. So after you finish up round 36, you'll have done the repeat a total of 3 times. And now for rounds 37 and 38, we're just going to do half double crochets again for 2 more rounds. So we'll just chain 1 like we've done in the previous rounds here, and just repeat the same exact thing, starting in that first stitch. And you can go ahead and pause the video, and I'll meet you back here at the end of round 38. Into round 38, we'll just use a slip stitch to join the last and first stitch together. For round 39, this is where we're going to start creating our handles. So we'll chain 1, and starting in this first stitch, we're going to do a half double crochet over the next 15 stitches. The next step will be to make a chain of 50, and then we're going to skip 30 stitches. So the best way to do this is to count out your 30, mark where your chain's going to go in, so that way you can immediately just stitch your chain into the top of this, and that'll lessen the chance that it'll get twisted. So we will go ahead and count that out. Okay, so that's our 30th stitch there. So we're skipping over these 30 stitches, so put your marker in the 31st stitch. And now we'll go ahead and make a chain of 50. And it's a good idea to try to keep these a little loose as you're doing them. It'll make it easier to stitch up our handles as we're going along. One trick I like to do when making these chains that need to not be twisted is to just never let go of this and always keep it in the same exact direction. And then we just bring it over to our marker and use a slip stitch to attach it. And that way, if you never let go of it, it never got twisted. Okay, so now we're going to do a half double crochet in that same stitch that we just used a slip stitch to attach our chain. And then we're going to do a half double crochet over the next 29 stitches. Okay, after you've done the 29 half double crochets, again, we're going to be doing a chain of 50 and skipping 30 stitches. So go ahead and count out your 30 that you're skipping and put your marker in there. This is our 30th stitch, and then we're going to put the marker in the following stitch. That's where we're going to attach our chain. So now we go ahead and make a chain of 50. Okay, now that we have our chain, we go ahead and attach it using a slip stitch like we did with the previous chain. Okay, and then we're going to do a half double crochet in that same stitch that we attached our chain to. And then we're going to do a half double crochet over the next 14 stitches. At the end around 39, after you've done the last 14 half double crochets, go ahead and use a slip stitch to join your first and last stitch. For round 40, we're going to chain 1. And we're going to start in that first stitch again, and we're going to do a half double crochet. And then we're just going to do a half double crochet all the way around. So we'll be doing a half double crochet starting around these first 15 that we did. Once you've done the half double crochets over those first stitches, then you reach the chain here. So we're just going to be doing half double crochet in each chain. You'll just continue this throughout the round. You'll just do one half double crochet in each chain and one half double crochet in each stitch. So you can go ahead and pause the video, and I'll meet you back here at the end of this round. So at the end of this round, we're just going to go ahead and use a slip stitch to join our first and last stitches. Okay, so for the next two rounds, rounds 41 and 42, these are going to be the last two rounds of this bag. And for each of these rounds, we're just doing half double crochets in each stitch all the way around. So to start out these rounds, you'll just do a chain of 1, and then starting in that first stitch, just do a half double crochet, and then just do a half double crochet in each stitch all the way around. And to finish off both of these rounds, you'll just use a slip stitch like we've been doing to join your first and last stitch. And after you've completed round 42, you can go ahead and fasten off and weave in your ends and enjoy your new bag. Thanks for watching.